What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Brendan, and I'm BMX45, and we're coming at you with another video. We have some more meta deck discussions for the Digimon TCG. We are here talking about new tournament data. We have 8001 TAC Games Sydney Regional that just happened this past weekend, which is actually leading up to the regionals. I'm doing the online regionals for Carta Magica, which is going to be happening this weekend on April 18th. So we'll definitely have some cool stuff for you there. We'll have the battle report. We'll probably have a meta deck discussion on this next week. But yeah, we have more information, more top 16s for the 8001 EX11 BT24 format as it stands. So we're going to get into that right now. And let's see what we have for the TAC Games top 16. And as always, thanks to Eggman for these wonderful little pie graphs. I love them. And his site does a really good job of the top 16. And hey, if you enjoy this type of content, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss a single minute of the fun. All right, well, so we have our top 16 archetypes. We have two TS Time Stranger Olympus 12 decks. We have one Imperial Dramon, one Alter S, one Red Hybrid, one Puppets, one Vortex, and one Millennium. I don't think that's actually a top 8. It's funny it says top 16. I wondered why it looked so small. So this is only a top 8, but this gives you some kind of similar look at what's going on. We are seeing decks like Imperial Dramon have spots. We're seeing the fact that Alter S black base, that's kind of an interesting deck to make it in. Millennium Mon's making spots too again. Vortex Dramon, Puppets, Hybrid, they're all kind of starting to pick up some steam. No Hoodie Mon, no Medusa Mon, that was kind of interesting as well here too. Or is the aggro Liberator deck getting out aggroed? So let's get into here and see what we got. We have first place is Imperial Dramon, so woohoo. All right, so looking at the similar build here, maxing out on the draw power and the reduced cost Digivolution, and lowering the more mon count, kind of makes sense. Playing lots of rookies, Jade Memory Boost for a little extra memory and draw power. This one's not going with the other XVmon option. It's just going with the 5 and then basically replacing the 2 guys there with Lydramon. Which I guess if you think about it, the jamming isn't necessarily, because if you get this Pyeldramon, you're going to be going into something bigger anyways. And it can't be destroyed by battle. So, I mean, there's that as well. And focusing on the starter deck guy. So that's interesting here. 3 Davis for that. Hammer Spark for more memory, and 2 Return to the Progenitor. Hammer Spark's nice because it gives you memory. I always choose HPD over Hammer Spark, but I guess with the new Pyeldramon, you really don't need Hammer Spark anymore. Or sorry, HPD, because you're not going into any really big, yeah, that's kind of interesting as well. All right, well, that's the Imperial Dramon deck. It looks pretty straightforward. I can see the to drop that down and play more of that, because this kind of sucks when it fizzles, and it does fizzle sometimes. So I can see the thought on cutting that down to 1 and then playing more of this. So I mean, I might even do that myself in my build, and the Lydramon too. That might be because the Jade Memory Boost at least is another search card in the deck with so many search cards. So yeah, that's seems pretty reasonable. We have the Alter S build. This is going to be interesting here. Yeah, this is definitely an Alter S build. It's got the old Ultras and the new one. 4 Garnet memory boosts. It's got the black base guys. It's got the new 81 guys. So I think there's some kind of like ranking up thing here, because you also got Sagittarius mode, Altarius mode. You got the Blitz, the new, and the old Blitz, and you got the new Kreskarumon. So making a lot of use out of the 81 cards. Nokia as well to just play free guys. So this is Midnight Memory Boost and Our Courage United. So very, very interesting. So yeah, blue and red. So basically they search all your blacks or your blues and your reds. So there's only a few times these might fizzle. Very, very unlikely though. Yeah, that's quite an interesting build, honestly, for Omnimon. We have one of the TS decks here. Same kind of thing that we usually see. This one's playing Rude mode. Not playing any other tamers, just going Dan and Kane and Yuki and Homerus, just maxing out on those. And then kind of maxing out on a lot of your other cards instead of playing like 2 and 3 copies. You're playing 4 of a lot of stuff, or 3 to 4 of a lot of stuff. So that's kind of interesting there. The thing that's going to be really interesting about this deck is how things go when we get out of BT24 and into BT25. Like, are these guys, some of these guys, going to be replaced with the new Olympus 12? That's going to be really interesting. Or are the new Olympus 12 going to have their own decks? That'll be kind of an interesting thing to look at and keep an eye out for. We have Emperor Greymon, which I believe is using the promo, mostly the promo. Well, no, it's using 2 of the BT18, 1 of the promo. Is that mostly new stuff, like newer, like BT21 stuff, BT18, BT17. So a lot of the newer stuff, and then the new other guys. The new Aldemon at 4, and the BT21 guy as well, and the new 4 of the new Tamer. So and the BT21 Tamer too. So the new Tamers are really good for the deck. Spirit Evolution, yeah, it's finally I would love to try this deck out, because I wasn't even thinking about hybrid, but like I love hybrid, and play the Uko engine, of course, because it gives that deck so much steam. Puppets. This is probably Mirai Puppets. Yeah, Mirai Puppets. Focusing on her and her kind of midline. And then like focusing on Centralmon high end. It looks quite similar to what we've been seeing. Sistermon CL. Uko, that's kind of new. Usually they only play the Shumon, but they're playing Uko, so it's a big rookie count. I can't remember. Is Uko a puppet? No, he's not a puppet. So he can't be played for free. Not that that's a good move, but it allows you to save all your stuff in the back. So yeah. We also have another Zephygamon top, so it's always fun seeing how that worked out. Again, similar build here. The rookie count for the Searcher. 3 of the reduced evolution, couple copies of the new EX11 as well as the new Muchomon. Maxing out on the promo, and then 3 to 4 of the new EX11 plus 2 Kakatorimon. And same thing for the level 5s is pretty standard. This one's playing more of the EX11 one than we saw last time. Basically just splitting it between the EX11 and the Ace. I know some people were playing like the EX7 one. Some people were playing the last one, the top was playing the Star Deck one. Still playing Medieval Galmon. I love how he's like down here. He's like, you're not part of the rest of this. And then again, maxing out on the new Shoto. HPD, and Emblem. And Emblem's, at least a 3 copy in this deck. So that's nice to see. Like I said, very similar to my build. A few little tweaks and changes there. But yeah, good deck. But it is definitely takes a lot of skill to play this deck the way it's supposed to be played. So there's that. And then we have our Millennium Mon deck. This is kind of cool. It's making use of some of the EX9 trait stuff and all the other Millennium stuff you got. Of course, the Insane Synthetic Monster and the new Tamer that we got in EX11 are being a big part to propel this deck to where it needs to be. Because everything else, and then the promo, of course, you need that promo Millennium Mon, which has gotten kind of expensive. So, especially with it topping. So yeah, Millennium Mon doing quite well. We'll have to check in on this card on the next market analysis and see where it's at. And our last deck is, of course, the other Time Stranger deck, which I assume is going to be very similar. Yeah, a little bit different here. Still playing the Ruin mode, but similar lineups for not playing a Maruki Mon, but very similar lineups, just changing ratios basically a little bit. And of course, they're all playing Sylphie Mon, so I rip this card at the next ban list, because if they hit the Shakuamon, which we're getting a new Shakuamon in the next set, a Time Stranger one, but it's just not as good. Doesn't have the basically the play out, inheritable, and main effect to play one of your level 4 cards out of it, or one of your, well, I guess it's any of your level 4 lower cards out from underneath it. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, that is our top 8 for the TAC Games Regional. Tell me what you guys think. Now, how would this have been different if it was a top 16? Would have we seen some Medusamon, some more Time Strangers? What would we have seen? It's really cool to see all these different decks getting tops. Hybrid, Imperial, Puppets is doing really good. Vortex Warriors is doing really good. And then, of course, you have Time Stranger still doing very well. And then you have some cool decks like Millennium Mon making its way in there, as well as a Black Base Alter S deck. That was really cool. I would have loved to see the new Omnimon in a topping deck. That would have been cool, because I think the new Omnimon from 81 is really, really good. But that's where we're at with this here. Tell us what you guys think about this. What are your thoughts about this format? Do you think things are changing? Do you think that it's getting more balanced? That we're seeing less, still seeing a lot of Olympus 12, but we're seeing less Medusamon, less Hoodiemon. We're seeing less Time Stranger, because honestly, in a top 8, it topped twice. Of course, if you double that, you could potentially still see 4 of them in a top 16, but you'd have to really know what else was in the top 16 to really kind of understand that. But I definitely think that, like I said, longer formats I like, because they breed innovation, and as innovation takes hold, you find you have a lot more substance in decks, and you have a lot more people trying out new things and finding varying results, and potentially finding like, oh, this card's really good, or this base is really good, and now it's actually more competitive than it would have been if I just left it alone, which is something that people don't necessarily always get to begin with, because when a format starts, most people just play the best deck, try and win prizes, try and get the the most results out of their deck, and then as they explore and experiment with the different cards in the game throughout the format, they get to find really cool combos. They get to find really cool little niche things that they wouldn't find otherwise, and that's what I really like about long formats, is you get more innovation throughout the format than you do out of a short format where everyone's just rushing to the bottom until the next set to just win something right away. But let me know your thoughts about this. What do you think about the meta? This is in Sydney in TAC Games. What do you think that our meta is going to be like this week for the online regionals? And really, we have 2 regionals because we have the booster box as well. So we'll have to wait and see about that. But let me know your guys' thoughts about all this, and looks like that's all the time we have for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we hope to see you in the next video. And as always, have a wonderful day, and that's all for now, folks.